I said, sweet, sweet, it's a believer. Not for good alone. He won't be the eater. Other creatures be eating too. I want to pray for long hair. She can pray for 2 months. But as long as she's living, I'll have a brain that's silent. And I'm ready to be a song. You can never money. I don't get money. The money will roll. You take it from you today, they will take it from you tomorrow. You take it from there today, now will take it from you tomorrow, brother. Oh, yes, I believe. Yes, I believe. Oh, yes, I believe. I'm for the moon. Yes, I believe. No, no, go alone. I'm for the moon. Never I wake up. Yes, I believe. No, no, go alone.
Christine, go bring my light upstairs for me.
All right, welcome to the show. Welcome to Talk TV Media Network. Today is the 4th of June 2022. Welcome to the show. To all our viewers out there, we love to have you today on this show. It's politics. This is the time we bring you exciting news, recaps of happenings, of events in the country of Liberia. This is the time we recap, especially for a lot of you working folks who work throughout the week and you don't have time to sit around and browse and listen to in-depth of stories of what's happening around your communities, around your neighborhoods. This is the time. You have that time with us because we are that voice for the voiceless. Talk TV Media Network. Comrade, welcome on board, man. How are you?
Happy to be back on board. How you doing from your end?
I'm doing wonderful. Glad to have you, man. Doing wonderful because this week was not a good week here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where
I heard the news.
Fatalities that led to a shooting. That a black doctor was killed, and another doctor and a patient and a nurse. and obviously the shooter ended up taking his own life.
Wow.
This thing happening. When it's the thing is when it's happening far away from you, you think, oh, it's not coming close to me.
Yes.
You think it's other people's business.
Yes.
That's how you're gonna feel like, that's probably why it is. But when it comes so close to you, wherein it was 2 miles away from me, from where I lived, and I was like, whew, this is crazy.
Just
Crazy,
imagine,
man.
just imagine the patient who was there on a visit, who
Yes,
got caught up in the situation.
yes.
So imagine, I just been thinking of myself going to visit my doctor, and okay, and somebody this kind of situation happened. Can you
Yeah,
imagine that?
ridiculous. Ridiculous, man. For it to happen to, I mean, the cops, police everywhere. And thank God, because, Oklahoma, we are, uh, 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 we are a gun, they love guns when it comes to this. You know, uh, this part of the world, U.S. Oklahomans for their guns, and U.S. They don't play. And the rapid response of the police, you know, brought a lot, at play on the table, because it just took them time, just like that, to respond. And with all due respect, our hearts goes up to those who lost their lives, their families, and I was able to follow the projects that doctor and Dr. Comey, another doctor that worked along with him, took a lot of, took him into his arms as his son. And they embarked on the project in Togo, you know. And just last week, when you listen to that, he was telling that doctor that if anything happens to me, make sure this project doesn't die, as though he was seeing something, prophesying what was about to happen, to take place. But that is what happens. That is what it is. But we're going to move away from there. How was your week, man?
A week. Been trying. My daughter had not been too well. My little daughter. I've been back and forth, but she's doing pretty well now. She's doing pretty well.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, good.
Mhm.
Well, welcome, welcome. I'm glad to see you, to have you back on board. And we have,
Yeah.
for our viewers, you can check us online here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Watch us. And then,
Mhm.
as you can see, we are having arrangements and plans on the ground to be bringing you live happenings around Liberia. But on the overall, I saw your article, just about time to get into the politics of it, that you wrote a week or two ago, last month, some part of last month, with this whole CPP framework and stuff that's been going on, and looking at the developments. And that's the first thing I think we should attack today. With what's been happening, CPP, the Liberty Party, divide going on, fights going on, and then lawsuits, the ANC Cummings, and that of JMB, the Unity Party. What's your whole makeup of the ruling that came up yesterday?
For me, I think the ruling was foreseeable. All right. As a lawyer, I was 100% confident that the Supreme Court would have ruled the way they ruled. And the reason why I was 100% confident was because, so one thing people don't understand is that the argument, there were two arguments. The other party argument was about the contract clause in the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other party argument was about the issue of fundamental rights. Now, eh, usually people just think that once everything is part of the Constitution, the Supreme Court is going to give equal weight to all the things when they're analyzing it. That's not the case. Now, so whenever an issue is a fundamental rights issue, you are more likely not to win that issue at the Supreme Court. I can tell you for sure. So, for example, freedom of religion, freedom of speech.
Right?
When those things go to the Supreme Court, the test they can use to look at those things is it's at a higher level than the rest of the other issues. So the contract, if you and I have a contract, It's a private contract. Now, if we take that contract now and go to the court, we are now asking the court, the government, to bless that contract. Now, before the government can bless that contract, the question the court will be asking herself, is there any other issue, fundamental right issue in the Constitution that this contract, if we force it, will impact? The answer is yes. Just forget it. So that's exactly what the Supreme Court justice did. They asked that question that, hey, is there a fundamental right issue here? And the answer was yes. Struck it down, and that's what they did. So for me, I knew I was very certain. I think you saw my article I wrote about a month ago, and one of the things I did not see the Supreme Court analyze, and it didn't touch in that ruling, was Article 77. Article 77 gives the political party a mandate. Political party have a mandate to advocate for the ideas of their constituents. So if you are telling them they cannot compete, right, you are taking on that role. You see the point there?
Yeah,
so
I get it.
Yeah, it becomes a problem because in the Constitution it gave political party the right to represent the ideas of their constituents. So if you're stopping them, then that's a problem. You see, and then another issue that they didn't take a look at is the fact that the National Election Commission is the only one that can stop a party from running in Liberia.
Right.
So it decertify you.
Because they will have to certify you.
Exactly. So
you apply, do all your application. They have to look at all the requirements. Hey, you didn't meet these requirements, blah, 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 this, that, and then decide.
Exactly so. So if you enter a contract and you are saying the other party cannot run, you are taking the constitutional power that is given to the National Election Commission and saying, I have that power now. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
So you see, so I just don't know, but I just think it was for the sake of argument. But I appreciate the other party too. But I was very confident that the guys would have the case would have been how to call it they couldn't have win the case would have been in favor of fundamental right. Because to be frank with you, Liberia is part of what we call in law a common law country. So around the world, they get countries they call common law country. Common law countries are those countries that base their legal system on precedent. All right. So for example, the US, Nigeria, Ghana, we are common law countries. Those are the common law countries. Now, in all of the common law countries, you will never see any common law country around the world where there was a contract clause where a political party was stopped from running nationwide. Nowhere. No country ever on the entire earth you not see that.
But the thing is, even if you look at it, it will create chaos, especially a very strong opposition political party that is running to stop them. That will create a lot of chaos. And on top of that is in defiance of the law. But let's look at this case. I'm going to be bringing some of this information from our friends, colleagues' website, the Front Page Africa. Let me read this. After I read that, then I'll just let you go ahead. Supreme Court rules Unity Party can field a candidate in Lofa Senatorial election, right?
Yeah.
And it goes further as in the Supreme Court of Liberia has ruled in favor of the opposition Unity Party that it can field a candidate in the ensuing senatorial election in Lofa County. In the ruling on Friday, the full bench of the Supreme Court said the purported Section 8.52 of the Collaborating Political Party CPP framework document, which bar any breakaway member from fielding candidates in any election until 2024, is against the Constitution of Liberia, and it is declared null and void. Right? So the ruling sparked a celebration by partisans of the breakaway faction of the CPP, including the Unity Party, the All Liberian Party, and as well as the Senator Nyomli Conga Lawrence Liberty Party. Now, you see, this is something, the ruling that took place. How do you look at it from this ruling? So, from your perspective as a legal scholar, right? It is the most appropriate way to handle this. And then the other party is thinking we've won. Does this have to do with any win-win situation, or is it what?
I think so. The ANC they had an
Because
interest.
I'm thinking, what is there to win? What was there to win? This is their document they drafted, and the lawyers that drafted this, like one of our viewers is asking. Let me bring that on the screen, right there. Now Bimba is asking, what is the role of the professionalism or the lack thereof by the lawyers who crafted the framework of the CPP? It's the same question I'm trying to ask.
I think here is my answer to the question there.
Mm-hmm.
So from all what I saw, the different political parties did not contract their respective lawyers. That's one of the problem they did. That's one of the problem I saw. So in law, we get what they call joint representation. Joint representation is that you and myself, we have been represented by one lawyer. Now, when you have that kind of situation, it can be problematic, especially when all of you on the table have adverse interest.
Right.
That's the point. So that one of the mistakes they made. So the team of lawyers that work, they were not basically representing individual political parties. For example, I'm representing Unity Party. I'm representing ANC. So each of those political parties should have contracted a lawyer, separate lawyer, to have looked at the different clauses there. Another thing I also observed is that the secretariat process was not really held with strict principles. Let me give you an example. So you see the United Nations, every time there's a treaty they sign. When you sign a treaty at the United Nations, they have a secretariat that manages that process. And that secretariat is very strict with the signature. They're strict with who would deposit that signature, every little thing, every little details. So one of the things I noticed about the CPP, the secretariat were not well organized. They were not really very straightforward. So to the extent that it was possible that even after the lawyers work on that document, somebody could still have done something with the document. That's what I noticed. And this is one of the reasons why you see they're having problems. Because if they really had a very good secretariat that were managing the process, for example, a secretariat should have been there to say, okay, Joe Walker, you signed this document, and that secretariat look at paragraph by paragraph, page by page. You wouldn't have had some of the conflict that they had yet. So I think I wouldn't blame the lawyers entirely, because the lawyers there we had joint representation, and we also we are not very sure whether that particular clause was put in the document by the lawyers. It's uncertainty about that. Because you see, you have Cabinet Janet there. Cabinet Janet is a former Supreme Court justice. I don't think Cabinet Janet would have sat down there and see that clause and let it go. He is a former associate justice. I don't think so. Right. And even the former justice minister, how they call him, the former minister of justice, who was also a member of that committee, I really don't think he will see that clause and just go there. No, I am very confident that he had a debate on that clause, and either someone, one way or the other, just say, okay, are we going to put it? Let's try it, And I think you can see what happened with the outcome of it,
Wow. So this whole stuff, and let's move from there to the ANC comments, right? Mm-hmm. His issue, his case was thrown out, and the question here is, thrown out is one thing, and others are saying there's no acquittal, right? And it's not something to celebrate. Yeah. What do you make of that?
No, I just think how to call him the Solicitor General just playing his little tricks. I don't think he's going to go back with that case. Let me give you my reason why I think he dropped.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So besides the fact that he mentioned the issue of the Supreme Court decision having an impact on the case, I listened to his argument. He said, looking at everything, there were no damage to the state. There was no damage to the other party. The fact that the Supreme Court rendered the that clause to be unconstitutional. Okay. Now, but one thing I can be certain for sure, it was difficult. If even he had pursued the case to a logical conclusion, he wouldn't have been able to convict Cummings. So I just think he just a very good litigator. He found a smart way of getting out of the case. I don't believe that Cummings would have been convicted with that case. No way. And the reason why I don't believe it, because when you look at how the process of the document was managed, it was not just managed by just one person. You have, for example, you had the lawyers, the team of lawyers that work on the document.
Right.
So you have different people that handle the document. So the question here would be, it would have been difficult for you to establish a beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, in criminal law, a beyond the reasonable doubt standard is a standard that is very, very high to find. When there is one doubt, it will operate on behalf of the defendant. So I want to believe, even if the trial could have found Cummings guilty, the Supreme Court would have overturned it, because there are so many doubts. And the doubt there, is who inserted the clause there? How did that clause get there? There's a lot of doubts. There are a lot of questions over there. You see?
So but that led the Cummings and the ANC folks and supporters rejoicing that, it's thrown out. And don't you think that Cummings would have been preferable for him, for the case to be acquitted, as in, thrown out of court?
That could be a good thing for him if the case have reached a full-gone conclusion. And the reason why that would have been a good thing for him, it would have given him a lot of political leverage as well. So assuming that the trial could have found him guilty, and he took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court overturned the decision, that would have been a big boost for his political campaign. Very big boost for him.
All along he's been saying that I am innocent, I'm not part of this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be acquitted. All of that, he's been saying that. So, so that's like, it's thrown out, but it's kind of like put a dent on him.
It kind of put a dent. But I am confident that he wouldn't have been found guilty. I look at the different I've been analyzing the different documents, looking at them. The reasonable doubt standard would have been they would have reached the reasonable doubt standard.
I got a quick clip here from our friends that sent me this and courtesy to Spoon TV of Serena Cephas talking briefly about it. Let me play that so you can listen for our viewers.
Comes from the international criminal court, and he comes from this matter. I think there's no need to continue this trial because the Supreme Court has spoken under Article 2 of the Natural Resources Constitution. The Supreme Court has 3 powers. And it's called the bilateral power and the prime power. That power is to review and agree and that information is made by the court. It is binding effects on all presidency individual resign close by period.
Yes.
If you look at the most contentious issues in the CPP framework agreement, the original framework agreement resigned. And this week, the framework agreement continued all withdrawal. If you do a holistic analysis of the two current same in terms of context and content, also Article 17 of the Natural Resources Constitution gives liberal citizens the right to associate or refuse to associate. The contentious issue is that the framework document that was filed with the NDC is not the one that was signed on May 19, 2020. So if two political parties are not parties,
that's
2023, no political party has been denied the right to provide candidate. No political party has suffered any injury. All they said that the forgery and the criminal conspiracy are required. So I have determined, as Solicitor General of this Republic, that the extent of injury suffered by the Republic is removed. Because that's only inconsequential. And therefore I'm speaking. Therefore inconsequential. As a consequence of that, I'm now trying to discontinue this line and give Mr. Coney a free check, but without prejudice to the state. So as we speak, that document is being filed. I have written.
So more or less, it's what we were talking about. But my thing is, now that they have thrown this case out, it's settled. UP cannot field a candidate for Lofa. Let's look at it, the senatorial race for Lofa. Who do you think that UP is going to put up? Unity Party is going to put up. You know, any idea?
I think they're going to support Kotima. That's what I understand.
Kotima?
Yeah, the former superintendent.
And you think Kotima stands a chance of winning?
That's a very good question. I believe if Unity Party can put up a very solid campaign, if you get Brownie Samuka out there, you get Joseph Human Boake out there. I'm not talking about him saying I'm Monrovia. He has to be. If I were him right after the case, the next 2 weeks I'll be in Lofa County. You're not about saying that now and say, okay, I'll go in this, that. No, he has to show that he ready for 2023. Right. Ambassador Boake, if he's listening to me, or he strategic listening to me, he can't say that in Monrovia now. 2023 is tomorrow. So and the Lofa senatorial race is going to tell us whether Joseph Yuma Boake is ready or not ready for the presidential election. So he has to get in his short trousers, get in Lofa County, from town to town, village to village, to campaign for Mr. Kotima. Because if Mr. Kotima wins that race, it's going to be a very boost for Joseph Yuma Boake. If Kotima loses that race, I can tell you it's going to be problematic for him in 2023. So that's no joke about it.
Because the essence, I think the thing where you're talking from is Lofa plays a very important role when it comes to winning election in the country. You know, a very, very much important role when it comes to the electorates and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's key. Lofa, and it's going to be a fight because I think CDC is putting up a fight too.
Oh, yes, they are.
Yeah, they're putting up a fight.
You know, here is what CDC is doing. I think I told you the last time. CDC stronghold is no longer their stronghold again, and that was Monserrato. CDC has lost Monserrato. I'm confident that CDC is not going to be able to have the highest votes in Monserrato again. So what CDC is doing now is CDC is trying to tap on the rural areas to fill in that gap for Monserrato. That's CDC strategy. That is why you see Thomas Fala is in Lofa County. He's typically doing development there. He's living there partly now. That's why you see Jefferson Koje as Senate Mayor is leaving from Monrovia. He's going regularly to Lofa County, having time with the young boys there in Lofa County, and trying to convince them. That's why you see Sir Joseph when the last time he went there, he said when he's doing humanitarian work, he carried medical supplies and here and there. He's not there carrying medical supplies. He's there because they are trying to weaken, cover up for their gap in Monserrato. They know that there will be a gap in Monserrato. So that is why Ambassador Boake and his team, they can't be saying now complacent. He has to show that I am a son of Lofa County. I have been in Lofa County. The people of Lofa County love me, and I'm able to deliver the Senate, and not only the Senate and the presidential race for Lofa County. Once he can lock that in, then there's a done deal for him. He has a confidence for 2023.
But do you see any chance when you look at that aspect of the Boake factor and looking at Cummings from the other side with the current rulings that just took place? Do you think even Cummings has any chance? You know, because he's kind of like all over the place. We're looking at, okay, he has the money, but you know, others are saying, Cummings, this is not your time. You know, well, I mean, Liberian people has a way of eating your money. We know that. You give them whatever, and they will vote the other way around.
I think Cummings have a chance, and I have followed Cummings for a good while. All right, and the reason why Cummings have a chance, we also cannot rule out the money factor. Now, the difference between Cummings and a lot of the other people who ran with money before is that Cummings, other than just having money, Cummings have been engaging the people. He have been engaging the people. It's one thing as a candidate to say, okay, I get money and just want to use the money and go into place.
He's engaging the people, Joel,
yes,
but he's still new into the politics, the Liberian politics. And
I
for
agree.
Liberians to just allow you to take that seat, because the thing is, though, look, people are seeing Cummings as power grid. Why is it that Yes, he has the money. Why is it that he can't even run for his own county as on a senatorial ticket? Let's see what he's made of, or representative ticket. But he wants the highest seat of the nation.
I think that's a good argument. The good argument would be that he must start at the Senate. He must start at this level. But the point here also, I want people to also consider is that he has been working. I'm going to say that. Of all the standard bearers, he has been putting in double time with all the counties. If you follow Cummings since he lost the election, in my lifetime, and I stand to be corrected, in my lifetime, I have not seen any presidential candidate right after the election they continue to engage the people. Most often in Liberia, right after the election, they go back in their closets. Now, Cummings brought a different factor. He lost the election. He didn't sit down. Cummings have been engaging the counties. And that put him at a point where he can cause somebody to lose the second round. Take note of that. So if Joseph Boakai is in the second round, if Joseph Boakai cannot really convince Cummings to get on his side, if Cummings switch to CDC side, it will be a big trouble for Joseph Boakai.
Yeah, that was where I was going to come out with the whole strategy point of it. Don't you think it would have been a very formidable team if, say, let them meet behind closed door? Comments. Go as my running mate. You know, you be my vice president. Let me be. So if you have that team and Cummings was to agree and if both of them sign that pact, do you see any chances, any path to the presidency very easily beating the CDC? Because I keep telling our viewing audience and the folks this, to unseat a sitting president is no joke. With all the things that's happening in the country, these guys have the money. And George Weah still have a lot of supporters over there. So it's going to take a lot of fight.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of fight. To be frank, I thought Cummings when they were in the CPP, my understanding, or like most of us, I really thought Cummings and Boakai would have had a compromise, okay, with regards to who run as the standard bearer. That was what I was expecting. Because I know in Liberia election, there have been no really, really solid democratic primaries in Liberia. Presidential election in my lifetime, I haven't seen it. Most of the standard bearers that have ever been selected in Liberia have been a compromise. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, George Weah, how they call him, Charles Walker Bronskin. They have all been compromised people who just lead the party. Like you have in the US where you can have a very competitive primaries. I don't see that much in Liberia. In Liberia, most often when you have them, if you have voice, in the party and other things, you become the standard bearer.
Right.
So my prediction was that Cummings would have allowed the compromise, and then he could have used as an opportunity to build himself for the next election.
Right.
Yeah. But Cummings, he still have a mindset because Cummings have not still in Liberian politics. So Cummings still have the mindset that it's possible to have a competitive primary in Liberia. Now, I don't agree with that.
That's my whole team, though.
Yes.
That's a thought process.
That's the point. I don't agree with that because, number one, even himself as standard bearer of his party, he became a standard bearer unopposed. Nobody really can oppose Cummings in ANC. Nobody can oppose it. That's not really possible, But I think he just believe he still have the mindset, and I want to be sincerely because of his inexperience in terms of Liberian politics. He still have the mindset that there can be a fair democratic primaries where there can be a standard bearer elected. That's really not possible in Liberian politics. So it's a compromise situation. All right. That's a compromise situation. You either agree to say, okay, let me give a support to this person, and then I can build up from that point. You see? But I will say that again, Cummings is actually going to be a very great force in the election. You know why? He's worked very hard. He's going to get significant votes, and the votes he's going to get is going to impact the percentage of the other candidates. It will have an impact.
Which will lead to a second run.
Which will lead to a second round.
And that's when the compromises will come in.
Yeah, and in the second round, you need Cummings to be out there running campaign for you if you want to win the second round. You need him. You can't say, okay, all right, what do we know? If Boakai is going second round, he will need to find a way to get Cummings on his side. That's the only way. or else CDC is going to have their way in the second round.
You see any possibility of doing that compromise for Cummings, knowing him, the kind of personality he is, to support CDC to get in their camp? I doubt it.
In politics, everything is possible. Let me give you my reason why I think he could do it. Cummings still get years in his favor to run as president. Number two, Cummings have capital of all of the presidential candidates in Liberia currently that I know. Besides this, I had a coin. The recent guy who just got in the raid, Cummings he has the financial capital. He's able to mobilize for his own elections. We've seen that. He's able to do that for himself.
All right.
All right. And besides that, to his credit, he also is he's able to articulate the issues. I've listened to him very clear. He has an agenda. He's very, he's doing his best he can as a presidential candidate. The only thing that is against Cummings is the fact that he has not been long on the scene. I think that's the only thing, And in the next presidential election, Cummings may likely want to get support from CDC. So he could say, okay, the fact that I could now work along with Boakai and Boakai and myself could now have a compromise, I rather will secretly support CDC, and then when there's a next presidential election, CDC will be the one they will give me some support in return, which will be maybe 2029. Who knows?
Wow. And folks in Radio Land, online platforms, we welcome you to today's political talk show here at Talk TV Media Network. This is where we talk politics, nothing but politics. And be a part. The numbers out there, our lines are open. You want to call in, call on the screen, be a part of the show. Whatever your thoughts are, follow us. You can call in and contribute. Whatever's on your mind concerning the politics of Liberia. That would take us to the Liberty Party, man, with this whole fiasco of fighting back and forth. Just like I always do, I'm going to come up with that article as well from the online guys, our partners out there, Front Page Africa, courtesy to them. Liberty Party chairman calls for reconciliation among party members, CPP leaders, right? Barely after a year of claims and counterclaims over the alleged alteration of its constitution, the opposition Liberty Party, through its national chairman Musu Hassan Bility, has revealed that it has finally resolved the matter with a call for unity, reconciliation, and the trashing of personal ambitions for the presidency within the LP and the collaborating political parties. For some time now, executives and supporters of the LP have been split by pledging their support and loyalty to either the embattled chairman Musa Hassan Bility or their political leader, Senator Nyomli Kanga Lawrence. So these two people, looking at all the hassle, the fight, now that let me put them on the screen right there. Now that it has resorted to this, with Musa Bility, taking things in his own hand, it's a loss for Musa Bility and the team, right? And one would say, is it even going to, if they can't resolve it right in-house, which I think they will, but now that they have told them, the Supreme Court has told them to get it out. Y'all go settle your stuff in-house. Go fix it up. That lawsuits, or further lawsuits may come, especially against Musa Bility.
I think one of the things I have been looking at, I think Musa Bility and Nyobli, they are having a role conflict. A political party chairperson, you are not really the voice of the party. You never see in politics where a political party person having a very attack with the standard of the party. That really don't happen in politics. Usually the political direction of the political party is usually influenced by the political leader of the party.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that Musa is trying to disrespect Nyobli I believe that Musa is not trying to understand as a party chair. His role is to make sure the party is operational. His role is to make sure that the party base is increasing. He's attracting members to the party. His party is to see how he can attract more financial support to the party. It's not Musa's ability role to be wanting to decide the political direction of the party. That's not your role as a political leader. The way political parties are structured, they are structured almost like you have the government. So, for example, if you look at the government, you have the legislature, you have the president. Now, when it comes to foreign affairs, the legislature have no voice in foreign affairs. It is the president that decides the foreign affairs of the country. So when I saw Musa trying to engage with Cummings, that was overstepping. That's a disrespect to how they call it. Yeah, that's a disrespect. It almost like the Speaker of the House of the Republic of Liberia trying to engage in a bilateral relationship with the President of Guinea. That doesn't happen. You don't do that. As a speaker, your own role is narrow within the domestic affairs of the country, doing the laws and all those kind of issues. But when it comes to engaging in the political direction of the country and public policy and other issues, it is the president. The same is with political parties. So to see that Musa was building relationship with Cummings and trying to carry the party in the direction of Cummings, that is not a role of a party chair. So I believe it's a disrespect to how they call it, to Nyombli. Nyombli should be the one deciding the future of the party. And I'll give you reasons why. Number one, in Liberty Party now, there's nobody that have more political influence than Nyombli. Right. In terms of political influence. Musa don't have political influence. He had never even ran for the office before. You get Nyombli, you get Darius DeLong, you get Steve Zago from Lofa County, you get the other guy from Grand Bassa. Those are the political guys for Liberty Party. They should be having more voice in the direction of where the party should go. Not a party chairman. A party chairman should be sitting and there listening and analyzing the political terrain and listening to the political leaders and see how those guys can strategize and get the party going. Not Musa. So, but I'm sorry, but I think Musa doesn't understand his role, and he's really he's trying to act like he's a rule of law man or what. Those are all just creating embarrassment for the party. He's breaking the party. That's not what a party chair do. Political party chair don't break their party. They consolidate and they listen for political direction for the political leader. I haven't seen that in any country. Anybody can correct me.
But
no country around the world you ever see that.
But one would say that Musa may have had a political agenda. That may have precipitated that.
Yeah, it's possible that he had a political agenda. As we know, Musa does not have much integrity in Liberia. In fact, internationally, Musa does not have much of the integrity. I'm not saying it to destroy his character, but if you look at the FIFA report on Musa, he rolled with the Ebola money, he rolled with the other funds that they have given. Those are not somebody, they're buying for 10 years. Musa cannot go to certain countries now. He can't come to the US with that kind of character. That's a problem. You see that? So Musa does not have much of the integrity to really have been a party chair. So that's one of the problems I have with even the Liberty Party, like most of the other people have. You have to look at your party chair, look at his background, look at his level of integrity, look at his personality. Musa really cannot be a party chair when you're talking about building new Liberia. I don't think you want to be a party chair.
So now you think as they go back on the reconciliation table, that they will be able to formulate a better idea, and then whatever corrections that need to be made that they had previously, after that will be turned over to the NEC, right?
Yeah, it will be turned to the NEC. And I just continue to tell people is that Nyombli is the voice now in Liberty Party. She's the rising star in Liberty Party. That's her time. It's just something that you have to accept if you are in Liberty Party. That one of the problems I see with Liberians, we don't like to respect each other. Is Nyombli really the rising star in Liberty Party? And she's really suitable. She's a lady. She's in her, I want to believe, either in her late 40s. She has the energy. So if I were a party chairman for Liberty Party, that kind of woman, I want to see her and I want to look at her political direction and see how we can market her more. I'm not going to be doing all the things all of
And also, look, in this day and age, when it comes to politics, looking at the demographic of women, running, how they want to run and take over, because the notion is that women will do better. They are mothers, they're men been running all these years, and a lot is not never done, and you want to give these women a chance. If they are qualified, give them a chance, because they will do.
And I think Nyobli is qualified. I follow her why. I see her how she's doing things. She's having the skills. She has built her experience. She's now a second term senator. I don't know whether there's anybody in Liberty Party now that have that kind of record politically. So I don't really get it, because let me be frank with you. Nyobli and the long relationship with Boakai, I'm looking at several factors here. We should not ignore the regional factor. So one, the late Eugene Falakpaka was from Lofa County. And you know that?
Right.
Eugene was a major guy in Liberty Party. And I'm believing that, looking at that relationship, I believe Nyobli and DeLong, one of the reasons they are getting close with Joseph Yuma Boakai, they are looking at the political future of the party. That's implicitly what I'm seeing there. And they saw how Baka was very strong. He supported them. He did a lot for the party. Although they are not saying it, but I'm seeing them trying to secure their political future, because in the next presidential election, Nyobli is running as president, and she go to Lofa County people and tell them, say, hey, I supported your son. I supported Joseph Yuma Boakai. I don't think Lofa Party will say that's not the case. They want to say, wow, yes, she did that. She stood with us in this time. So they are looking at their political future, to do that.
Wow, that's a very interesting analysis.
Yeah,
I never looked at it like that, and that's
good.
It's
so that's something to overlook.
Yeah, politics. This whole dynamics of what's happening. Look, so looking at those parties right now, and for our viewing folks, just as for your news, we hopefully might be having one of the aspirants on our show as well. Hopefully at the end of this month, Councillor Tewon Gonglo. He's here in the US visiting as well. So that's breaking news for you out there. And once we have it going up, you're going to see it. It's here. And that's what this platform is for. We give voice to the voiceless. We give voice to those who have ideas, who have the country at heart. We want to hear their ideas, their love of country, their plan, their vision. And running the country is not a small body. It's not a small body. Somebody has a vision. And if you have a vision, we want to know or see your vision. It's just like life. So all these leaders that run all these different that are aspirants running for political office, we want your vision. Where do you want to take us? Someone is saying you've been in government too long. It's time to give way to the rising stars, to the young generation. Someone saying because they've been in government too long, we need your wisdom. That's why we need that wisdom, that knowledge, and that understanding. So it's vice versa. Come 2023, you have all these major political parties that are contending right now that we know, that we are aware of. Against the CDC, who do you think stand a chance of even going on into the second round? The Liberty Party.
That's a tricky question. I know Liberty Party is not giving a presidential candidate. I know that if we look at the data, Joseph Newman Boakai stand a better chance. If we look at the data, looking at 2017 elections, Joseph Newman Boakai stand a better chance.
What data are you talking about?
I'm looking at the 2017 elections, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that Joseph Newman Boakai stand a better chance. The second thing I'm looking at about Joseph Newman Boakai, he appears to have most of the influential people in Liberian politics on his side. So he not just having, so for example, I see, although Nyobli they have not declared their support formally, but I see Nyobli and DeLong have been much more leaning on Joseph Newman Boakai's side. I see the talk show host like Henry Costa. I see that he supports Joseph Jima Boakai. So if I'm looking at those variables now on the side of Cummins, I don't see many influential people on the side of Cummins in terms of people who have the numbers. All right, that's one thing I don't see much on the side of Cummins. I don't see any. Okay, he get Nathan is there with him. Nathan is, I think, from Bapuru. But if you look at Bapuru County in terms of the significance of the vote there, it's not much significant in terms of making a big decision. If you look at Grand Bassa, Grand Bassa is a rich county with votes. If you look at Montserrat, where DeLon is the guy there now, it's a rich county with votes. So Joseph Yuma Boakai have a better chance. Now, the only thing I can say about Joseph Yuma Boakai is if he can raise at least 4 or 5 million for his campaign solid, then I can really say, yeah, he will be able to move there. But if Joseph Yuma Boakai cannot get the money, considerable money to really get him there, he stands a chances of not making it to the second round. Because you know why? No matter how popular you are in politics, the money factor is a factor. You cannot just say, okay, they know me, they love me. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work.
I think that's where they need to play the politics to be able to.
Yeah, no election around the world, people win without that factor, addressing that factor. So currently, what I think Joseph Yuma Boakai and his team need to be thinking about is they need to be able to raise money now and now. They need to get the money now and now. By this time, they need to get their structures and everything well structured and mobilized. We want to be seeing Unity Party campaign card and all around the county now and mobilized. That's what they need to be doing now. If they wait 6 months to the election, they're out. They're out. CDC lost the election in 2011 because of those things. 2011 CDC lost. 2005 they lost because they never had the financial power. CDC, the last election, they really got good money. They had good money. They had a popular candidate, and they got it.
The financial potential plays a very major role.
Yeah, no question about that.
It does. Yeah. And
you tell the woman I love you. All right, you tell the woman I love you, but you have to maintain the woman.
You're right.
Yeah, you can't just be saying I love you every night and then.
I love you with your mom. You're like, why would you eat? You love me. Why eating? Love me on empty stomach. How can I love you and not even go far?
Yeah, and let me make a point. I'm just so sorry that Ambassador Boakai and his former boss, they are not in good terms. I'm just so sorry. To be frank with you,
president,
to be frank with you, that would have given a bigger advantage.
But the issue with that is, Joel, I'm trying to draw the dynamics around that. They're playing high class politics with each other and making it look as though things are okay between them, but they are not.
We all know that.
And if they were, there's no way you can have someone serving you for 12 years as vice president and not support them to run.
I agree.
I think, just looking at that even this coming election 2023, that even though she may not be at the forefront, but she's in the background, not supporting Joe Boakai as well.
I agree.
She might be playing that dirty politics too from the back.
Yeah, I agree. To be frank,
the camp, Joseph Boakai camp, and so I think they gotta be smart. They gotta be aware of those that are coming in for leadership positions, because there could be plenty of agents to disrupt.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I know sometimes people believe that she's former president, and she no longer on the same political scene. But let be. Although I have a lot of criticism about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, but I think one of Joseph Yuma Boakai's weaknesses is that he doesn't have much of the international exposure like Ellen has. That's just clear cut. And that exposure that Ellen has could be a very good ground for her to have helped him raise some money outside the country. As we know, all presidential candidates in Liberia need to raise some money out of the country. So that international leverage that Ellen had, if she were really on his side, that would be an opportunity, because Ellen have worked on the international scene for over I don't know how many years. And those friendship and bond that she has Ambassador Boyka, I'm not saying he doesn't have much of the friend. He does have it, but there's a big difference of working with the UN, working with the World Bank for those number of years, meeting with president, helping those different countries.
But my man, all that though, the old man don't want to support the old man. The old man don't want. She doesn't want to work with him to push him up to the presidency, because this is it. I think the underlying factor is she probably feels that if Joseph Boakai is elected president, that there will be audits done all the way, even to her administration, and she doesn't want that happen.
I think that is the perception, general perception myself have been having. And I would say this: I know no people run like I don't see, although Joseph Yuma Boakai is a presidential candidate, all right, but it's a little difficult. He served Ellen for 12 years. I know people believe that he can be able to do all those things that he's saying. I'm one of those that don't believe it. I used to have the same thing. I don't really believe it. Really? Looking at his personality, looking at what I have seen him in public, I don't know. I may stand to be corrected, because Ellie had much of the stamina, political stamina, in terms of a lot of things, and she really feel on many of those things. I don't think he is going to do a lot of those things.
I think you have to look at the motive.
Yeah.
The motive plays and the love of country.
Yeah.
Because as a president, yeah, he may not be up to the bar. If he has the record, as in, this man is not power greed. This man is not crazy about stealing and embezzling government money. This man is about accountability. He's going to try to put things in place as a foundation to move this country forward. So those are the kind of things I think well-meaning Liberians are looking at, as in, okay, look at him. He has children. None of them in government or whatever. They're doing their own thing. But if you look at Ellen Sirleaf with all her children and tribesmen and colleagues and pile up in government, and then all the high positions and stuff. But this wasn't the case. In fact, to the point where I felt like a lot of his tribesmen complained that as vice president, he should have helped a lot of them to work in higher places in government. That he wasn't doing anything for them. Mm-hmm. So in that case, you realize, okay, maybe there's substance here. He has something or half for the country. That's something he want to do. And the only issue that he pointed out that kind of from a business standpoint that kind of stood out to me was roads. And roads plays a very major role in a booming economy. And if that is what every president, you just look at your signature work, like this, by the end of my term, I want to make sure that he did this and did so much of this, and it's evident. If roads everywhere in Liberia are paved, that in itself is something to remember, because it will boom the economy of the country. But I mean, it's the politics of it, the connections there. We need the money. He needs the money. The other people need the money, and that is where I think he needs Cummings on his side, by and large.
The point here is I know the ambassador has a very good personality. I admire his family life. I admire his his children. A lot, they all went to school there. The son and I graduated together the same year from UMU. I admire a lot of things about him. But running a government, what it is, the plans that you have before you enter and the plans you can have when you're there, they are two different things. And I'm looking at his personality keen. He's gonna be running a bureaucracy, a very big bureaucracy now. It's not gonna be just the vice president office. It's gonna be a very big bureaucracy. I'm looking at the Liberian economy, the way the Liberian economy is now. The Liberian economy is way down there. There are a lot of challenges with the Liberian economy. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at his ability to be able to galvanize attention, international attention, like his former boss were able to do. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was able to do galvanize that international attention that she got. I'm looking at all those things because those are not easy things to do, especially when you are developing, when you run a developing country.
Right.
And so there'll be a lot of challenges there. And I'm not so confident that he's going to have the stamina to get those things because one of the challenges that Ellen faced, if you look at Ellen carefully, during Ellen's first term, she did a lot of great things. She fought hard during her first term. We see her first term, she was galvanizing support. It was like really, she was really fighting there. She got John Morlu came on board. You had, I can imagine, man, she got Dr. Antoinette Saye. To have gotten Dr. Antoinette Saye from IMF to go to Liberia, that was not an easy thing, I want to believe, because to leave your job from the IMF and go to Liberia, nobody easily want to do that, especially looking at the Liberian economy. Ellen was able to get all of that attention in her first term. They were able to get the debt waiver and government support. In her second term, she dropped. I didn't see her with that stamina again in her second term. The stamina was not there again. Her son started playing an active role, much more now in the political process than it used to be. She was not willing now to replace, how they call him, for John Morlu to continue. And I believe a lot of her roles now, she was like, she was not too active in her second term. And one of the things I observed keenly was the age factor was playing against her. That's my observation keenly in her second term. Mm-hmm. The age factor was playing against Ellen in her second term. So that the energy that she had when she was just in her 60s at the time, that energy was no longer there in the second term. So now the boys, Amara Kone, everybody now were just running the show. And that's how she started having a lot of problems in her second term.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see how the ambassador, would do it. I know his integrity. He had a great integrity. And I want to see how he's going to run the bureaucrats. I'm looking forward to his presidency. I'm one of those looking forward to his presidency. I'm open to his presidency. I'm even open to what's coming. I want to see some of the new faces there. I'm open to their presidency. Yeah.
And so folks, this is how we're going to end it here today at Talk TV Media Network. It's a little over an hour into the show, and this is an hour show. We bring this show to you every Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 Eastern Time. And those of you in Liberia, it will be 6 p.m. Every Saturday. Besides that, we have a gospel talk show that comes every Sunday at 2 p.m. Don't miss it. Be a part of it and see what we get to give you. Tomorrow actually will be very interesting, very fantastic, with a very dear friend of mine who's a pastor who's here in the U.S. On international studies. So he will be tomorrow joining me here at 2 p.m. So you don't want to miss it. Be a part. Very fascinating. Be a part of what God's doing. Today is Talk TV, the politics of Liberia, around the world, what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. We touch on all these topics and things that interest affect our community or the global world. This is where we bring you information. Don't forget, we have plans to be bringing you sports. The NBA finals just started. One game has been played already. Tomorrow is their second. So my house is on fire, I can tell you. The boys, man, watching the games and stuff. So I'll be bringing them on this sports show to talk about NBA basketball, because it's big time here in the U.S. And then we also have plans to be bringing you our business segments. As you watched one of them Friday yesterday, either we'll be having a business segment on Wednesday or Fridays, but we're trying to figure out the right time. And then we'll be bringing you entrepreneurs, business minds to give you resources, information that will benefit you to do business. Why you're in business, how you grow, how you become rich, all of that. What made them successful? If they can do it, you can do it. You don't have to be in the U.S. You could be any part of the world, and there's always business around you. So we want to be able to bring that as a way to motivate you and help you to think different. Also, the health part of it, we're going to be bringing the health part because there's no way any of us would be here talking to you if we are not healthy. We were sick, we won't be here. So we want to talk about the significance of health, you know, healthcare. Talking about healthcare in Africa, healthcare in Liberia, healthcare here. And we want to bring the needed, qualified personalities that work in those fields to be able to talk on those issues. So Talk TV Media Network, like the page, subscribe to the page, follow us, you know, join us, be a part of a noble network. Until then, my brother, your parting comments.
Just want to encourage every Liberian. We hope that we have a look in the future for a great free and fair presidential elections. Let's keep our mind open, continue to love each other. And Liberia is all we have. Nothing else we have. Liberia is a common denominator. You know. Thank you.
Liberia is our common denominator. Liberia is all we have. You are so right. There's no place like home. Liberia is all we have. If you want to eat the sweet cassava leaf, Liberia.
Yeah.
Just like the song says. You know, you want the palm butter, the fufu, the dumbo, Liberia. The potato grains, Liberia. The cassava leaf, Liberia is all we have, my people. So let's take Mama Liberia seriously. This is not for us, but it's for our generations to come. Remember, every Liberian has a sense of responsibility on your shoulders for this country, or else you would have been a citizen of a different country by birth. But there's a reason why you were birthed in Liberia. Until then, peace. We love you.